know, to take away a bit of credit for myself, Weibo also did ban it in game 1. Kind of just to power blue side. I guess it could have banned it in game 2 as well over the Talia or the Gnar, but good they did it this time. Like you said, though, the Sylas being picked up with not too many things that really are able to crush it hard enough in lane before it becomes such a nuisance in the mid game, just with how much pressure it does offer. And this meta, on top of like all the changes of whether it's Grievous Wounds or durability changes, there's also just typically a lot of great ultimates to steal in almost every draft we have.
Yeah, a lot of great ultimates to the Sylas do. And again, you know, we've talked about it so extensively of why the Sylas is seeing so much priority. But, never mind. I'm going to bring myself right back into the draft. They're going to have the Sivir, the OG original teamfight carrying the bot lane for Huanfeng.
And they've definitely indexed her new identity into being more of a teamfight carry. Doing things like pushing her towards the crit build by giving her crit, scaling on her Q, and like more attack speed coming out from her W now. And then just the fact that the boomerangs can now hit multiple targets. And now it's not only like 3 times that your W goes off, like 3 auto attacks, it's now 4 seconds. So you're actually getting a lot of value out of the bouncing boomerang. So just better at team fighting in the late game. We're going to see what it's able to do. We've had it 1 game so far, and it was a win.
We've had it 1 game so far. Huanfeng's only ever played it twice in his career, and sadly he's sitting on a 0-2 scoreline of that. It was LDL Summer 2019 and LDL Summer West in 2018, so not had an exceptional amount of play on that one there. I do believe the first time he played it was on Voodoo, which is an old LDL roster, and then it was on Invictus Gaming Young, so definitely something new for Weibo fans to kind of see if they can do it. And again, Huanfeng on something that can become a monster, you know, just having that constant auto attack resets, it is more about positioning than it is anything else. And that's the kind of skill expression that you would expect to see as some of our top 80 carries.
Yeah, one of the things that can still be punished is the fact that it still does only have 500 range, right? So
yes,
you get into a fight, you get locked down, it is hard. But we'll be able to at least enable people like Angel wanting to go in with that ultimate. But now with picks and bans flying so fast, we get to see TT go towards the soul lane. I mean, Weibo's already showing a mid lane pick. But like we said, there's honestly not too many things that just outright destroy the Sylas in mid lane. I'm almost positive you are not allowed to pick that Kepler, so they do move on to the Swain.
I was going to be real mad if that got picked. I was like, no, this is not allowed. I don't believe so. I'm going to be real mad if it is, but we're quickly running through my notes again because
it's one of those things where since it's LPL, you're like, I know that this isn't a thing, but it is also LPL. So is anything really true?
Exactly, yeah, exactly. Well, we'll see now. Wow.
Oh.
Okay, so Weibo going full aggression, full kind of teamfight skirmishing with the Pyke as well. They're looking to get a bit of a mid-game spike and just kind of keep pushing with it.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how this goes, especially in terms of the laning phase being alongside the Sivir, because your Q damage took a hit, but your W early on actually can do a bit more from that 4-second window that you do have. TT, though, do decide to go back to the Gragas once again. I mean, Hoya's been looking good on it, so I don't really fault them from wanting to stick with what they know. TT's composition definitely does well against champions that do want to come into them, right? Having things like the hostile takeover. We've already seen what the Grog is able to do. And then Swain, a huge benefactor of just keeping you in his ultimate so it can go on indefinitely. I feel like Weibo's comp, once again, a little bit stranger. Like, you have the ability to look for these all-ins, come off on flanks with things like the Kennen or the Sylas, but also, like, Trundle seeing how that fits into things. And then this random Pyke in bot lane wanting to look for some aggression, wanting to look for map movement, look for picks all across the board. So we'll see what Weibo are able to put together with this kind of like dark magic comp thrown together. To where TT, once again, I think keep it very holistic in terms of what the identity is.
Yeah, I love that. It's like you think of Doomby, you think of dark technologies, but it's Weibo, it's dark magic, you know? It's just a kind of like, it's not the same, it's different, it's mystical, it's magical, it could be amazing, it could be terrible. We're not quite sure yet, but we're going to see once it comes into this game. And honestly, I'm just excited to see the Sivir. And again, if you're wondering about the couple of the changes that came in for the Sivir, it's a lot of really big, kind of basically an entire rework.
So many.
Yeah, there's so many. But the biggest thing that I always kind of look at, specifically when it comes to the Sivir, is going to be that spell shield. It no longer refunds mana, it refunds health, so it's going to be a bit more of a weird kind of resource management coming out here to see how this Sivir actually ends up, setting themselves up in those fights.
Her rework is definitely a bit weird. I would recommend anyone to go look at like you know how Freak does his rundowns and he has like the numbers
Yes.
of how things work out? Because a lot of Sivir's numbers are kind of like weird in terms of whether like it is a buff or a nerf in terms of like what the scenario is. We can talk more about the Sivir a little bit later though, as TT at least gonna try and establish some control bot and see if anyone peeks their head in. But looks like Weibo not gonna fall for any shenanigans this time. Because we gotta remember, game 2 was off the back of a great level 1 from TT.
Yeah, and even game 1, there was a level 1 coming out from TT as well. It was answered very nicely by SofM, who kind of snuck himself around to make sure he was able to get himself the vertical jungling. But now TT's Ucal is going to be hooked back, and he might end up losing his flash, maybe even his life. First blood, that was just really well played by Weibo. They did their homework and they counteracted.
Weibo able to find the first kill. Was 2 flashes for 1, so not going to be as much pressure, I think, especially coming out from, you know, the Pyke, if maybe they're able to force something from Kepler and Yao if he needed to follow up, but still huge, you know, yeah, I'm going to say it, huge gold, 500 gold when there's only 5,500 gold on the Rift. That's a large percentage.
That is a large percentage, but I will think the big thing that is going to actually come from this is that Ucal used one of his pots trying to get out of that as well. So he actually only has 1 pot coming back into this lane with the Doran's ring. So not ideal for Ucal coming to this. Of course, without his flash as well, if Angel can get to level 3 first, he should be able to kind of go for it. Of course, a long while ago, the first blood advantages in terms of XP and gold and everything that was very much nerfed into the ground, so it's not a complete game changer. But this is the problem now. When you don't have flash, you're going to see Angel just looking for these aggressive trades, constantly going in on top of Ucal, because it becomes very difficult for this Swain to really survive until level 6.
I mean, luckily, like, it does. I don't feel like it's too big of a deal if you don't have like immense pressure, but the fact that Sylas does just get a bit of a free laning phase does feel a little bit bad, since typically early lane and kind of bullying him out and making sure you're the one with prio is one of the ways you stunt his growth, because you know at level 6 he's going to be able to find a huge impact, especially just even stealing away Ucal's ult and being able to get in the middle of so many members of TT. So Ucal, Yao, and Hoya all have, you know, pretty solid ults for Angel to be able to take away.
Some pretty decent ults there for Angel to go for. Should he go for it? We're going to see the junglers now kind of on the opposite sides of the map. We did say Beichuan top side and move down towards mid, or blue, I should say. And obviously on the opposite side is kind of the mirrored start, so it's kind of the equal start as well. So that's what them on this Trundle. And honestly, the Trundle has been something that has seen a lot of success of recent days, and I wanted to kind of pick your brain just a little bit about that, because why are we seeing a little bit more priority on things like the Trundle when we had so much, I suppose, time with things like the Lee Sin and the Xin Zhao? Why is the Trundle, the Troll King, come back into our screens?
I feel like he's still a pick we actually only see on like rare occasion, and I think a lot of his strength comes just in terms of like being able to duel other junglers or being able to like peel and sit up in team fights. Again, in my mind, Weibo's composition is kind of a little bit all over the place in terms of picks. So, you know, you'd have to ask SofM for why it comes out in this one. But strong early dueling potential coming out from the Trundle and just providing a lot of peel with that pillar. Not even too many tank stats for you to be able to steal away from later on in the game with your ultimate in these drafts.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. I don't think there's a real person you could look for. Obviously, the Gragas would probably be the one that comes to your mind, but doesn't generally build very tanky in these situations. So would be just kind of a curious one to go for. Maybe just use it as a stat stick, or a negative stat stick, I should say, to try and maybe take out one of the carries. But curious to see what they have to kind of go for. Both junglers now on the bottom half of the map. As we can see, SofM, after his reset, not going to be reaching towards that very first Chem Tank Chainsword, or Chem Tech Chainsword. Now Yao here with Beichuan. So you can catch out on. Like I said, those flashes are down or SofM and on, so you're not as mobile on the Pyke. Yes, you still have a lot, but I like this from Beichuan, kind of covering the fact that the Trundle is exceptionally powerful, especially into something like a Renata. He can just kind of sit here because he's not losing anything. His caps aren't up.
Yeah, and you can actually see both junglers trying to punish where there is no flash, because SofM has actually been hovering around Ucal's lane for quite a while, was sitting in the brush on a ward before getting a bit of vision for himself. But neither team so far presenting any opportunities, and all of the splashes are going to be up again soon. But still, I like the T-tier continuing to play around the spot side when, you know, they do have the double range coming through. On still hasn't had the splash. Because I feel like for Weibo, you're wanting more to move on out of lane. Sivir still having some solid wave clear. Her mana kind of getting hit as the game goes longer, got buffed a little bit early on, and you do have nice cooldowns now as Yao.
No, bit of supportal combat. I will say the Renata Doesn't have a huge amount of damage, but definitely going to feel a lot more comfortable with the CC. Is now on, has to try and rock himself away from this one. They know that he's sitting here in this brush, as they do have a ward there for it as well. And now TT, I like what they're doing. Like you said, kind of trying to punishing the flashless members of each team, but also the fact that TT are just kind of calling out Weibo and saying, look, we know you're going to try and bully out Ucal on the Swain, try and deny him from getting up to the unstoppable general of Noxus that he can be, and this is just really good posturing here from TT. Very smart play.
TT just making sure to cover their bases, knowing that Weibo have, these early avenues to look for picks, constantly hovering around mid. And this is what we're hitting on for TT's identity, right? Ucal, Beichuan, and Yao Yao kind of being the three-man squad, kind of being the boys on the side of TT, but still, we're about 2 minutes away from Herald. Why are we having a party in the mid lane in 6 minutes?
It literally, it was just like all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's resetting. Everyone got the push, no problem at all. And then I was like, no, SofM, get in here. They're posturing. We need to posture back. We cannot let them have this mid setup. But it ends up being just the scuttle taken. Angel's gonna stay. We're gonna see maybe a move here. They're gonna hook off, and this is kind of just the annoying part of the Pyke. The Pyke is just trying to be annoying. It will lead to TT getting themselves a dragon. No real contest available, but because Hoya did actually roam down towards that mid lane, but this is just such a strange passage of play right there, where they've kind of forgot there was other lanes in the game.
Yeah, both teams kind of hovering around mid, wanting to make their way to bot river for the scuttle. Both mid laners also definitely wanted to reset. You just looked at the mana pool available on both and not really being able to impact anything. So that's why we got that, extended passage of play. But like you said, Hoya moving down, really being the thing to, I think, make sure that Weibo are like, hey, we can't look for this, as Explosive Cask comes out for a little bit of a cheeky trade from Hoya.
Cheeky trade coming in, and they're going to be able to kind of push themselves back in there. I like Hoya. Again, I love what Hoya's doing with this Gragas. I think we're showing that he's very proficient on it. And I think the thing with TT is that it's nice to see them kind of bring themselves back in with comfort picks. He's picked us now 3 games in a row. They cannot really ban it away, especially with all the other different things they need to go for. But a TP actually coming out for Huanfeng on bot side just to keep himself safe. And honestly, I like the TP summoner coming out for the Sivir. It is just one of those things that you're just not really going to be in kill pressure. You don't really need the combat somewhere. It's actually just better to get you into a better team fight or just lane pushing position most of the time.
I do gotta say, I'm curious to see what Weibo and TT are both gonna do with Herald coming up now, because, right, you just committed TPing your AD carry to bot. He pushes him away first, and he can move up and have this window. But more importantly, like, TheShy saw Hoya just waste his ultimate. So I don't know how much confidence TT are gonna have without Gragas having that explosive cask available. But so far, neither team really posturing or making the trek up towards his top side. We do have the extended posturing around mid lane once again,
I was just about to say, I was like, no, it's an ARAM. There is no Rift Herald in ARAM. Oh, Beichuan gets brought over from the wall there. Empire Vision's going to try and disengage, but he's already had to use the Heartbreaker. So now TT don't have a choice. I honestly don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be easy at all for them to try and contest this. They are still going to try, but Hoya's a while away, and he doesn't have ult either.
No, so I think it's best for TT to just look to give this one away. Problem is they're not in a place to be able to answer back anywhere on the map.
No, they really aren't. So they're going to try and force this one here. They've got now 4 members in, 5 when Hoya joins in. So this could be a full skirmish coming in. TheShy is there with flash available, and of course the slicing Maelstrom. So now they're going to have pretty decent vision here. The Rift Herald down to about 1,300. They're going to try and jump onto the side of Angel, who steals away the Demonic Convention. On tries to go in. And then, yes, you get the Herald on the side of Weibo, but you can't collect it. TT just hard forced the fight, and honestly, Weibo just didn't respect it.
I mean, Weibo took so long that Hoya had his ult back up in time. His ult was like 20 to 25 seconds slower than Rift Herald spawned. I feel like Weibo could have been a little bit more decisive looking for that one, as SofM might be caught out.
I mean, there's 3 people here. He does have flash available to him, but just back away. So a lot of posturing, and eventually the Rift Herald does go down, but you don't gain it, so you're only getting the experience and the 25 gold you get for killing it. And sadly, a kill goes over to TT as Weibo fans kind of think about what really happened in that fight. It didn't really feel like Weibo, as you said, were comfortable kind of going for it, and then it just took way too long to take the objective.
Well, I could see how in this scenario where you have a Pyke and you have a Sivir that you're not comfortable looking for an early fight, but again, they took so long kind of just standing and dancing around mid with TT, they opened themselves up for this engage to come through, instantly layering the CC onto Angel after he gets caught by the hook, and then on. I mean, you're a Pyke, you're incredibly squishy, jumping into this decently burly team that TT have put together, gets instantly popped, and yeah, bit of a confusing situation coming out, but now we see Weibo back on the map. They have got vision control down in bot side, having a lot of wards towards this river, so can try and secure a Scuttle Crab for SofM, but TT might look to try and challenge again, and there it is. Ucal's ultimate already back up on the board.
Yeah, and got the Imperial Mandate as well. So in a team fight, he is just so powerful, giving so much resources to his team. TheShy doesn't have TP just yet, and Hoya is just going to be having to deal with him. So if the side of Weibo wanted to go for it, it would just be a 4v4. And this is honestly kind of it's again just kind of what we were talking about for TT, where they're able to just kind of be more decisive. They're being very cohesive in how they want to play this game and how they want to play as a team. So the identity coming out, as you said in the draft from TT, just far more cohesive and just far more easily executed.
And you kind of saw there, like what we were talking about with Weibo's draft of like, hey, again, you kind of have members like Angel and TheShy who want to be finding weird angles into a fight on. I mean, Pyke, not great in team fights, right? It's a lot about picks. It's a lot about isolating members. And then Sivir wanting to play front to back. So I think it's a little bit all over the place. I feel like Weibo definitely should be indexing heavier into picks with the Pyke, Sylas, Trundle combo that, you know, you can find the skewer, you can throw the pillar behind them, make it hard for them to find an escape path, and then try and take fights with numbers advantage.
We'll see if they're able to make that work. We'll keep an eye on it as we go on. We are starting to see first items being picked up here for the mid laners as Angel does get himself onto the Everfrost. And the Cole has been finished off for TheShy as well, so he's looking to cash that in. And, oh, good hook there, but it's onto Ucal. And with the rest of TT just constantly covering for this, it does feel like you said, those pick potential just not really there. I will say it's a 40 CS lead in the top side, maybe down to about 30 once this wave does crash, but it's a lot, and you haven't taken Dragon yet as TT, so you can't really cover for that eventuality, and Beichuan has to use his Heartbreaker again.
Yeah, but there it was, right? That's how you set up for those picks, layering the CC, throwing out the pillar, making it hard for them to escape. Now, though, TT are like, fine, we blew the ultimate, but we still have confidence that we can take this fight, because look at Hoya once again.
Oh,
Hoya always makes his way down to bot. Oh, God.
No, keep going, keep going. He makes his way down to bot, and nothing happens.
Makes his way down to bot, which does open up for TheShy to take plates on top side, but that is why TT are so consistently able to guarantee that they get these objectives. SofM being a little bit of a homie, giving them a kill as well.
I mean, you know, just wanted to give him a nice gift. You know, look, guys, you worked really hard this split. You've obviously come up with some good movements as a on. Gonna actually just what?
Oh. No. You know, well, even if he canceled it, I guess it wouldn't have made too big of a difference other than being a little bit of an annoyance. If TT would have decided to stay, it's like, I don't know. Could have been a little bit dicey for their side. But now where we're at in the game, right, it feels like a lot of power for Weibo is going to be on TheShy from the fact that he has gotten 3 turret plates up in top side. He just picked up his rocket belt, and now TPing back into lane, looking to keep up this domination. So you can see SofM kind of hovering on this side of the map as well, just picked up top lane Scuttle, trying to give TheShy the safety and access he needs to keep bullying out this matchup, because right now he's sitting about 40 CS up.
Yeah, about 40 CS up. I will say, as much as you said that on delaying that back isn't anything but annoying, it is very funny, though, that he misses it. So just a little kind of moment or two where you're just kind of like, okay, that's what, again, it could be the mindset. You never know. TT going to recognize that. And I love how, as well, Beichuan just didn't flinch. He was just like, I'm not going to react to you. I'm going to finish my recall, because if you try and fight me, you're going to die. But anyway, we come back in. As you said, TheShy is still pushing in towards our top side. This crown of the Shattered Queen this time around for Hoya. And I will say TheShy is starting to put down some significant damage. And you can see Beichuan, he got to respect it right now. TheShy has been quietly accruing an awfully big lead. And level 11 now with the second point in the ultimate. He is pretty big. So it's going to be on TT to really put themselves into a good position to not get caught out by him.
It's seriously going to be on TheShy in my mind to be able to make sure these team fights go well. Because if you can get in, Slicing Maelstrom lock numerous people down, that opens up Huanfeng to shred people with the Ricochet. That's really the combo you're looking at. It's TheShy.
TheShy's going to look to try and make it work here. He's going to be a little bit caught out, but the exhaust comes out. He's ticking down because of the burn. Ooh, Beichuan.
I was scared. I was sweating.
I was a little scared as well, but he does end up getting it off. And that target you talked about for TT, if they can isolate him, he doesn't really do a lot after it.
No, I mean, heck, we talked about Weibo wanting to be the team kind of isolating picks early on to set themselves up for success. TT now finding that avenue. I do got to say, though, just from like the CS leads and things we've seen, Weibo actually do have the gold lead. About a 1.5k gold lead at that as well. So a lot of that just coming down to, especially that lead up in the top side for Weibo.
Yeah. I think it's literally just TheShy coming in. As we can see now, Angel looking to try and fight off Hoya, but Explosive Cast has been taken out. And that means Angel has to back himself away. But you're going to keep looking for these skirmishes. Very difficult to really kind of make this one work. But no TP on TheShy. The Rift Herald should be the next port of call. But Weibo looking like they're actually a little bit stronger to try and fight this one here. Not exactly in the best position to look for it as On. Maybe trying to be a bit more nuisance than he has previously been.
TT deciding it's not time to go for the fight. Hoya and Beichuan both didn't have their ults, but still, there's no slicing Maelstrom on TheShy, which does feel like an important factor. But with the fact that resets had been coming out from Weibo, and you look across the board, they have their mythics finished. Kepler still doesn't have his Gale Force stun. Seems like, you know, some of the decision-making behind why TT opted into just giving up the second Rift Herald.
You give it up again. The second Rift Herald is nice, but it's not detrimental. I will say it does give Weibo another option to try and pressure around that dragon. We always see it. You drop it down mid. You kind of say, look, this is a pressure point that you have to react to and gives you control of that dragon pit potentially. But we'll see what TT want to go for. An Infernal Soul and TT's composition with the pure amount of damage they have, it's pretty significant. So I would like to see Weibo definitely go for a hard contest over this dragon, but we'll have to wait and see, Lyric. But now, bring me back into the game as TheShy maybe going to try and catch out Hoya, who does not have his explosive cast. And why do you need a team final when you can bully the Gragas?
So Weibo at least do try to use some of these tools to be able to find a pick. Will give them pressure in topside. Angel even might just be able to guarantee this tower for them. But then Weibo definitely going to want to start making their way down towards that bottom side with Dragon coming up in 30 seconds. Tiki now just coming back on the map. We're going to have to see them reestablish some control. But with Beichuan and Yao Yao here, and seeing Ucal make his way through bot side, they definitely should be able to do it.
Yeah, they should be able to. On going to have to dash himself over the wall to make sure he does not get killed by Ucal, who does have his level 11 himself, so he's going to be able to kind of get that ultimate off for him, and a pretty decent power spike as well. I'm actually going towards the Rylat's Crystal Scepter, actually opting into a early Oblivion Orb to make sure he gets that healing debuff onto things like the Trundle and the Sylas. I will say this has a lot of power as well into the Pyke, so now with Dragon spawning, this will be Infernal Soul point here for the side of TT, and they're going to start this one straight away. Good vision control means that Weibo need to try and push this as far as they can. Good pillar to stop any re-engage coming out, though, as Angel thinking about going in aggressive. He does steal away the Swain ultimate to keep himself alive, and now the Dragon can start to go over to the side of Weibo. We've actually just switcherooed the places, as now the fight can really begin. They're trying to jump in on top of this one here. The Moonlight Vigil isn't really onto anyone of significance. Beichuan in a lot of trouble. He gets bailed out, but only to delay the inevitable, and now the next fight can really begin. TT, their health bars are low. They're flashing away, but they're not really on the right side of the map, Lyric. They're trying to run away from this one here. Angel looking to see if he can catch anyone on the back side. This one actually goes over and flashes all the way back out. SofM just trying to keep everyone corralled in this jungle as Angel over the side of the wall, and Hoya is the only one left alive. He's going to get knocked up by the pillar, but is he going to get taken down? TheShy wants him dead because he's his top lane adversary, but he should be able to get himself out alive. It ends up being the Dragon to Weibo and pretty much 4 free kills.
Yeah, Weibo got everything. They got top lane turret, they got mid lane turret with the Herald, they get Dragon, they get a bunch of kills. TT, in that moment, I don't want to say looking indecisive, it looked like they said, hey, Herald got dropped mid, we need to start Dragon now and force a fight now. But Weibo were kind of willing to play that stare off, make them back off, and then we're going to see Angel buying so much space with the Swain ulti that he takes away. Kepler forced into an awkward angle and has to kind of be very aware of where TheShy is. You can see here, right, Angel kind of being right in the middle of everyone. And this is where Sivir really thrives, like being able to you know, use a ricochet, throw out the Qs, and get this damage down. They get Beichuan low enough to where On is able to follow up with the play. And then now members of TT are so low, TheShy is still full HP. They feel fully confident in chasing the members of TT down as Angel once again tries to create pressure, but gets pretty scared quite immediately.
I mean, rightfully so, but he still does damage over the side here and kind of just creates another thing of, like, you can't exit through the Dragon Pit. You have to respect that I am here. And now we come back into live with 6-3 on the scoreline. Out of nowhere, a 6,000 gold lead, similar to game one. Just one fight, and Weibo just accelerate the game. 50 CS now in the top side in terms of the difference.
And look at the gold lead, 6,000 gold for Weibo. Not leaving any questions in our minds about who's the superior team. And a lot of this just coming from some of, like, the simple trades on the map they're making, or the small steps, right? The fact that Weibo, like, were confident enough to stay around the top side, get that top lane turret, drop Herald mid, got themselves another turret, and then go to Dragon. Like, even if the fight didn't happen, right, that'd still be a solid gold swing to the side of Weibo. So all those small little steps combining together to put the lead where it's at for Weibo.
Yeah, this is tough. This is tough for TT, and we kind of start to look at options available to them. Again, the Swain, great on that mid-game spike, but honestly, I think Ucal's looked a little muted, to be perfectly honest, on the Swain. Just hasn't had the same level of impact, and already super far behind as well in this matchup, kind of sitting on a couple of half items. Yes, if he finishes off the Morello's Namacon, it's fine, but it's not the power spike you're expecting, and it's just hard for TT. Where do you want to see them try and prioritize? Because it just feels like they're going to have to try and hope for a misstep on Weibo's.
I mean, with this gold lead, definitely that's going to have to be the play, is waiting for someone to overextend. But I want to talk about Weibo's comp again, because I feel like one thing maybe that I underestimated is just the amount of angles that Weibo's angle could play, right? Because you saw in that last fight, it's like TheShy's putting pressure on Kepler on one side, like on kind of moving around the fight. The other carries have to be conscious of him. There's just so many things you have to keep track of on the side of TT, despite the fact that, again, their comp should be fine, throwing out the Renata ultimate, locking everyone in place, and then allowing Kepler and Ucal to pop off. But with the amount of mobility able to come out from Huanfeng, from these members, it makes it very hard to pin them down.
Yeah, and even in front of two members, technically three, as Yao was in the vicinity, Beichuan can't even defend his own jungle. He's having to fight for his own Krugs because he knows that Angel's just in a stronger position. Angel can make this one up, and the thing with the Pyke that we haven't really got the hit on as well is that he prioritized the Umbral Glaive, as we can see Hoya looking for the flank, but Huanfeng is there with SofM. This will be difficult to really make stick, as they're going to try and make this one work. There's going to be the spell shield. He gets the flash in, the explosive cast, flash away there from Huanfeng. He gets Heartbreaker on top of, but he hasn't been taken out. Finally does go down as you eventually get Ucal into the fight, but he had to flash to be a part of it, and now he's dead. Nowhere for them to go. TheShy comes back with a double kill, and Ucal just left on his lonesome in a demonic ascension, but they flash in, get the hook, get the stun down. Angel looking to try and the abscond and the abduct, slap down from the depths, and Weibo clean up house.
Weibo able to clean up house because TT threw everything in the kitchen sink and trying to take down Huanfeng. They weren't left with too many tools in the extended fight. Ucal did his damnedest, staying in the middle of everyone with that ult, but still wasn't enough in the end. They're just continuing to extend their gold lead. Dragon is coming up in 8 seconds. So now that members of Weibo are making it back on the map, SofM still on the map, they might be able to prioritize this, but Beichuan and Hoya are also down towards that side. Hopefully that doesn't get taken during a replay, because it feels like this Dragon super important, but we'll see here. TT wanting to catch out Huanfeng on the Sivir. Uses the spell shield a little bit early, which allows Hoya to just use his W and then go in with the engage. They were so committed, though. Beichuan's like, no, this is going down. Follows up, uses his ult as well until Ucal flashes in. But this is what we're talking about with, like, so many angles. And TT putting themselves in harm's way, trying to kill Huanfeng, allows TheShy to get so much value out of this ultimate. Ucal's also getting a ton from his with the members of Weibo staying in range, but they did finally back off, and we did miss Dragon. But apparently there was no fight, so yeah, what it is.
It is what it is. Now a nearly 10,000 gold lead. Warmog's picked up there for SofM. He knows he is just a brick meat wall, I should say, in the face of TT. And honestly, Kepler, no one's going to be able to really kill him. So I like the real stat check there, as we can see Kepler. That was 1 Q. That was 1 Q from a 3-item Kennen. Void Staff and Banshees picked up alongside the Hextech Rocket Belt. So yeah, this is going to get harder and harder. And again, honestly, throughout this entire series, even in the game they lost, TheShy has been exceptional on these AP picks and topside.
I mean, this is just pure comfort for TheShy, right? Especially having the winning matchup as Angel. Going to look for the 1v1.
Yeah, gets the Crown of the Shadow Queen out and the explosive cast. And that thing is, if Hoya uses that defensively, he doesn't have it for a potential fight. So yeah, this is going to be difficult here. TT trying to just force this one here, but I don't know if they can. And Weibo are just commanding control around this river, commanding the TT respond to them. And yes, TT, fair play to them. They're moving as a unit to try and make sure they don't lose all the semblance of vision. But as I said before, as I was going to say before, with the Umbral Glaive here for the Pyke on, that makes it just so much harder just to continue to keep that vision. You just get it lost so quickly.
And right, you add that with the gold lead, with the amount of pressure they're keeping up in sides with the Sylas, it really does just feel so hard for TT. They could have theoretically tried to make a play there if Hoya had his ultimate of like rotating him over while Angel's pushing because Angel doesn't have TP. But with the ultimate, it feels like Gragas would have been useless. So now for Weibo, they'd Angel push out bot. They're doing Baron while also threatening the engage.
Yeah, again, SofM has Warmog, so a couple of seconds after the fight in here at Baron, he can just regen up, not a problem. But we're going to have a bit of a 5v4, as now it's going to be a 5v5. TheShy is going to be TPing in. Watch out for that one. The bailout for Ucal does not help him. TheShy is coming in now. They're slicing Maelstrom, not really hitting anyone, to be perfectly honest. But On might be looking for resets. Never mind, he's already used his ultimate and didn't get it. So now it's a 1-for-0 kill, as Ucal did go down. But now SofM in a lot of trouble. He's isolated. He's left by himself, and he's been taken out. TT, they called Weibo's bluff, and Weibo didn't have an answer.
And we saw there, just running headfirst into TT's composition can be very hard, but Weibo now forced out a lot of tools.
Oh, nicely done there by Angel. With the exhaust down on him, though, he's going to find a real struggle to really kind of make himself relevant to this. TheShy comes back in. Kepler almost dead. Angel goes back in with the abduct, but I don't know if that was the correct call as he ends up falling down. Finally, Huanfeng is there. Look how low they are. The rocket belt does enough. Kepler trying to get himself over the wall. No, the pizza shall slice him in half, and eventually Weibo end up taking the fight.
The TPs from Weibo coming in clutch to make sure they take the extended brawl. TheShy doesn't even care about Ucal's damage with the mandate. He is huge at this point. Gonna get a bit of damage down onto the turret, but now with Yaya coming back up, will pay some respect. But once again, here's the small moments coming out from Weibo where they're able to get this damage down. W popped by Huanfeng, which now also gives you a burst of attack speed that used to be connected to your ultimate. So we saw him pushing in topside, but going back to the fight, they try to go in. Angel's immediately locked down, so can't really follow up onto Beichuan. And then Ucal taking so much damage. The Renata ult, the hostile takeover, keeping them at arm's length, allowing Kepler to get some solid damage off as well. So this is why TT were really able to survive this kind of like initial outburst coming out from the side of Weibo. And then very easy for them to just all in on one member in SofM. But luckily for Weibo, they did have the TPs available, so they can just choke out TT in this extended fight once Angel and TheShy get involved.
Yeah, we might have to come back to live fairly soon, but the end fight of this was basically the TheShy having a full health bar. And TT, you got to give him commitment. We're going to come back straight into live. But SofM's kind of been caught out, but again, he's just a stat stick. He's just HP, and now Hoya has the belly flop over the side there. So SofM, look at this. He's just going to heal that back up. So you commit so much to try and kill the jungler, but it's not really going to mean much in the grand scheme of things.
That is like pretty much the only reason to buy Warmogs is like staying power on the map. You get chunked out, you back off, you're able to keep going with the pressure that you have. As Huanfeng flashes.
Huanfeng, he knows he's just too powerful right now. I think he picked up his Infinity Edge right at the end there as Ucal does fall down. You've lost your mid laner, your sticking power. Angel, TheShy, they've all decided the time is now to take this game. This is over, Lyric. They are not letting anyone out alive, even SofM, the staying power that you were talking about. He's not quite able to get to Hoya, but with the blast cone on the rift, they will take him out. It's a clean ace, 5-for-0. And at 28.5 minutes, this series is done.
Yeah, Weibo cementing themselves apart from the middle of the pack by taking down TT. TheShy once again looking unstoppable.
2-1 on the day, and that is going to be 3 wins now in a row for the side of Weibo. They took down V5, they were able to take down TT today, and of course they did beat out BLG before this, so nice little bit of run of form here, and good start here. Good way to kind of bring themselves into the back quarter almost of the split. I think Weibo, they were tested today, but they came up trumps.
Oh, yeah, they did. They definitely did, right? We saw, I mean, even in this last game when I kind of doubted them being able to pull it off, again, with the Pyke, with the Sivir, these things kind of coming out, and TT's draft looking a lot more like, at least in sync. But they managed to do it. We saw, again, just they were putting threat on TT from so many different positions that it made it really hard for them to ever keep Kepler in a safe position. And we saw the one time when Kepler was able to reposition with his flash towards the end, that's where TT were actually able to make it close and make it competitive. But it felt like they fell way too far behind in terms of gold by the time we got there that it didn't really matter in the end. But it does feel like the one through line from the past 2 series is, again, just kind of TheShy popping off consistently. SofM has definitely like ticked the box of he's shown that he is able to play more with his team in like so many series in a row. That's like, okay, before I'd always have to doubt, like, which SofM we're going to get. We're going to get
true.
SofM who wants to farm, or we're going to get, you know, the team SofM. And it feels like now we kind of have an SofM that you can rely on to play more with his laners. And that kind of just leaves, like, if Huanfeng and Angel are performing, then this Weibo squad does look completely solid.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that you look at some of the names on this roster. I think Angel, TheShy, and even SofM who had that, you know, again, big Worlds performance on Suiting in 2020. This is a roster that can reach heights. And like they've previously shown, they can beat the likes of E5 on their day. They have a lot of variance depending on what's happening. And I think On definitely showed us himself to be a wide variety player, shall we say, in this particular setup. But a win's a win. And again, look, up to 7-4. They joined the likes of EDG. They're up with Anyone's Legend. They are fighting for a top 4, top 5 spot. And that is significant for this roster because they want to do better than they did in the previous split. And, you know, again, they want to try and get further on in playoffs. It's all about getting as far as you can so you can be in contention for one of those 4 world spots.
I definitely think Weibo has inspired more confidence, and this is a team that you can believe on kind of heading towards that goal. On the opposite side for TT, a bit disappointing game 3. You can even see like the damage numbers coming out, especially like how low, I mean, Beichuan doing more damage than Kepler. Even On almost did as much damage as the enemy AD carry. So not able to find that consistent team fight that we saw, but I'll still give TT the silver lining of just like expectations, because I don't think any of us ever expected us to get here where TT throughout the series were making good decisions. They won a game, and even in their last game that they lost, it was like, hey, like things were close, things were coming together towards that game 1. So still an exciting squad to keep your eye on. They do have a pretty important match coming up next, like FPX. It feels like that is a must-win for them if they want to keep that dream alive. But still, it's been nice to see what TT have been able to do in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, TT, the next match again is in week 8. That's up against FPX, like you just mentioned. But then Top Esports, you'd imagine Top should be winning that one there. If they can take that win, that could be a massive upset that gives them a bit more life. But LGD, they should win. Then RNG again, another very tough matchup. Ultra Prime and then RA. Realistically, if you were to take out of the last 6 matches, they only win 3 of them. That only puts them on 7 wins. 7 is not